Hey y'all, my name is Erica, and I would like to reintroduce myself to you. I'm a mom, a wife, a daughter, a friend, a teacher, a champion of my own self, and a serial entrepreneur. I started out my entrepreneurial journey being a graphic designer. This was back in 2008, 2009 when I really started taking it seriously. I had been designing before that, but it's when I first started taking it seriously and I named my business Envisions by Erica. That was the first name. My business has gone through a couple name changes, but that was the first name. I designed flyers, logos, brochures, anything physical that could also be printed. Because back then, I was about to say back in that day as if I'm old, but back then, you were more likely to have like the street teams or the print campaigns that were posted up on light poles and doors and all that type of stuff. So even posted in like restaurants and businesses and stuff like that. So you were more likely to see those type of things. And so that's what I did. I even did business cards, postcards, thank you cards, anything you wanted printed, Christmas cards, whatever, anything you wanted printed, I could design. And I did. So that's where I started. I was completely self-taught. My graphic design experience has been through the trials of learning how to do it, through the ups and downs myself. It was something that I had a knack for and I just explored it. From the graphic design came the social media management design, social media design, social media management. It kind of went hand in hand because as the internet started booming, it's so weird to talk about this like this, but as the internet, specifically social media, started taking off, so first it was Facebook. There were sites like MySpace, Black Planet, different things like that, but Facebook started off with college students, and then it opened up to everybody else, and slowly but surely businesses started to get on social media, and then you had Twitter, Instagram, all those things, and people started realizing that you can also post the same flyers you were getting printed onto social media, and so that's what we did. I did a lot of that for a lot of different types of businesses, a lot of churches, cleaning businesses, bakeries. I'm trying to think my first actual like real clients, authors, people like that. Those were my first clients, fit into those categories, and so that is what I did. That also led into me learning, self-teaching myself, because that's what that means, teaching myself how to build websites. So this is where my website design journey began. Now, all this kind of happened within the first year to 2 years. I was realizing that I was able to pick up on things quick, and really it came from the needs that my clients needed. They were like, hey, you did this, can you do this too? And I kind of always adapted the yes, but that yes meant in quotation marks with the asterisk, no, but I'll figure it out. That's where I kind of adapted that. So website design. I taught myself coding. I taught myself how to build websites. And honestly, my first websites were not very good, but they were functional. They were functional. That's all that matters. The first website that I built was for a janitorial company. They cleaned commercial businesses and religious organizations like churches and things like that, and a variety of buildings. But I remember their biggest clients were commercial organizations and religious organizations. And so I built them a website because they just simply wanted a way to not only promote themselves online, but to have a way where people can like fill out a form and contact them and things to that effect. So that was the first business that I did. Then from there, I built websites for churches, authors, and other small business owners. Even though I was self-taught with the coding, I really felt like this could be something that I could make a career for myself. I was also in a space where I went to college for a couple different things and nothing was really quite hitting, right? And I realized, I was like, hey, I like doing this. I like doing this enough to make it a career. So let me go to school for it. Actually learn how to do more and all of the ins and outs. And so that is when I went to Interface Web School. It was Interface Web School. It is now something else. The name is escaping me, but I'll put it on the screen because editing me will go back and figure out what the name is. But I was introduced to what was then Interface Web School by Shauna Dorsey. She is an amazing woman, and I remember being nervous about being the only black person or the only black woman in there, and come to my surprise, Shauna, who ran the school, was black. And so that was really comforting, and she really walked with me every step of the way, and I graduated and with I think it was officially front-end web development and design, I believe was what the official word is. I have we actually got trophies. So it's somewhere. I have to look at it, but I believe it's front-end web development and design. So from there, I just kept building more websites. I kept going and going and going and doing that. While I was creating websites for different people, organizations, and things to that effect, including my dad's church, so it came about that he wanted some visual aspects to the church, whether it was recorded videos, recording, specifically where it started was recording the sermons and then like cutting them up or editing them so that we can post them on the website that I built for the church. And so I got into that. I was self-teaching myself. There has to be a better way to say that. But I taught myself how to convert footage, because back then we were using a video camera that had a little cassette tape. So there was no SD cards. There was no none of that. It was little cassette tapes, and you put it into the side of the camera. And actually, if I remember, or if I go to the church before I edit this video, I'll put in the actual model number, but it was the JVC video camera. I remember that. And I remember having to teach myself how to convert the cassette. Essentially, it was a video cassette, and convert it into a digital file so that I can edit it on a computer, and then learn how to edit it, and then learn how to publish it so that I could put it on a website. I taught myself how to do all of that. And I think back then I did not realize what a big deal that was. But once I figured it out, that's where it was. That's where we went, and we just went from there. I was converting the footage from the video cassette that was in the JVC camera into DVDs, duplicating DVDs, designing the DVD cover. So it brought back in my graphic design experience, and all of that. And it just kept progressing. It kept progressing. Upgraded the equipment, so I taught myself the different specs of different cameras, and we want to do this, so this camera won't work, but let's find this camera that can do that. Because I think my dad realized how quickly I was picking up on things and how interested in visual arts, the visual creations that I was, because every time he was like, do you think we can do this? And I literally would say, I don't know, but let me figure it out. And then I would figure it out. And so in the midst of doing this for my dad's church, I was still doing the graphic design. I was still doing website design. That's what my company was. And just kept going. And then honestly, I fell out of love with website design and graphic design. It really came from the frustrations that I had with working with different people who were not as serious about their product as I was, as serious as I was creating their product, if that makes any sense. So it really, really kept getting frustrated. I remember the last official website design client that I had, and I put in quotations because you'll see in a second. It was a website I was trying to design for a client, and we were on the third month of the project, and it was because they were taking so long sending the information to me to build their website. Whether it was pictures of the people that were involved, the description of the programs, like stuff that I cannot come up with because I don't know their company, right? I can help you pick colors. I can design your logo. I cannot describe your program without information from you about it, right? So got really, really frustrated. And this wasn't like a one-time thing. It had been building up to this, but this was the moment where I was just like, I am taking a break. And so actually never ended up finishing that website after 3 months because they just stopped responding. So of course I didn't get paid for that. This was way before I had processes and procedures for everything. And definitely learned a lot of lessons with that project. But I was just like, I hate doing this. It's like, I hate designing websites. So I stopped. And so I actually took a break from entrepreneurship for a while and dove headfirst into learning videography and photography for my dad's church. And really just literally headed, like I was learning how to take pictures. I was learning all of the behind the scenes and the mechanics behind that. I was learning videography creation, publication of videography, editing, all that stuff. I was teaching myself all of it, from recording what was happening to the publishing to the public. And we just kept advancing. Went from the video cassette, JVC camera, to finally a digital camera. It was a Canon. It wasn't a video camera, so it wasn't a DSLR. It was one of those huge video cameras. It was a Canon, and it did have an SD card. Finally, but it was just one. And so learning how to pan, like go back and forth and tilt and zoom in and zoom out. And I essentially was learning things like aperture and focal length and things to that effect, but I didn't really know that's what it was, but that's what I was doing. And along with that, I was learning audio. So we had a separate soundboard in the church, but learning how to monitor the levels there, because the levels that were needed in the sanctuary were different than the levels that I would need to make it the best possible it could be on the video camera. It was very different. And so literally trial and error, teaching myself, looking things up, watching some YouTube videos. There wasn't a lot of YouTube videos then about anything video related. And so teaching myself how to do all this, and we just kept increasing and we kept getting better and kept expanding the vision to the point where we are now, where we have a 3-camera system with a full live streaming system that is wired into my office at the church. It's wired through the walls, under the floors, into my office at the church. And I have a team that helps me. It's a team of 3. The youngest is 11 and the oldest is 15. The kids have been such a great help to me, but we have a full live streaming system. We live stream 3 times a week, switching between cameras, replaying it throughout the week, all that stuff. So that is where that journey began. I did go eventually to Metropolitan Community College for video and audio communications is what I believe the program was called. I'm not sure if it's still called that. I think it is, but that's where I went eventually. Now, I I decided to go to school for it to learn more about video and audio communications, because essentially that's what I was doing for my dad's church, and honestly for some of his friends' churches at the same time. But that's essentially what I was doing. And like I told you, I had taken a break from my company because I had started to literally hate, and that's a strong word, but that's how I felt, literally hate graphic design and website design. And so it occurred to me one day, because again, I was still in like the break that I took from college because I couldn't decide what I wanted to do, what I wanted to have a career in. And it dawned on me one day, I was like, I like doing this. So how about I try doing this? But honestly, I hesitated. So I didn't go to school for video audio communications until about a year and a half, 2 years after I remember first having that thought, because I was hesitant, because I remembered, I was like, so I spent money, went to school, got the education for website design, and then ended up essentially letting other people make me hate what I used to love. And I didn't want that to happen with video and audio stuff. So I hesitated, but I eventually went and went to the program. It was small classes. My classmates were great. I ended up forming some really great friends and connections through that. My instructors were great. I even had to take some like actual art classes. So I did learn a lot. A lot of the stuff I did already know because I had been doing it for so long, but I did learn a lot of new things. And so that was reassuring to me, that I didn't feel like I was wasting my time either, right? It was like, am I just doing this just to get a piece of paper? Like, I don't need a piece of paper to prove what I already know, you know what I mean? So that's what I did. But yeah, that was years after I first started, but I don't feel like it was a waste of time. I do feel like I learned a lot, especially on the audio side. I definitely learned a lot. And so it has been, oh, 3, 4 years since Metro. I think, I don't know, time is a construct, and I honestly don't remember years, but it's been a minute. And I still actually found some of my books the other day. I moved into a new office, and so I found some of my old books that I had kept and everything. And it definitely was not a waste of time, but it definitely was a step into where I'm at today. So what I do today is everything. I still do everything at this point. I do not do graphic design and website design at the level or the volume, not nearly the volume that I was, but I will do graphic design and web design for my video and or audio clients that need it. So I'm not taking just graphic design or website design clients. Does that make sense? So like my main steez is videography, video creation, video production. That's my main steez. So that's why when somebody asks me, what do you do? I say I'm a video producer. But I'm not going to ignore the gifts that God has given me, right? So if you're one of my video clients and you need a flyer made for the event that you've hired me to do a recap video for, I'm going to say, hey, I'm also a graphic designer. Do you just want me to design it? Because sometimes it's easier. Well, not sometimes. A lot of the time, it's easier to just go with somebody you already have instead of finding somebody new. And so that's why I bring it up sometimes. And then same for the web design. I'm still hesitant when it comes to web design because it still does heavily rely on the amount of time it takes for my clients to give me the information. But if you've been a previous client of mine before, I am more than likely to say, hey, do you need this? I can help you. So that is who I am. That's how I got here. It's been a journey. It's definitely been a journey that I don't regret, but I'm happy where I'm at now. So I'm happy to say I'm a video producer because it's what I do love to do. And I'm excited to this year, next year, expand and work with more clients, work with new clients now that it's, getting safer and safer by the day, and also produce shows, produce series, get back into short films, and have things on the streaming platform that I've created, which is OCPTV, which is Opus Collective Productions TV. It's an app, and I'm excited about that too. So this is where I know my purpose is, and it also, especially during this time that was the last year and a half, the video production experience that I have, the live stream production experience that I've had has really came in handy for businesses like my clients, like my dad's church, like some of his friends' churches, because it was the only option that we had. And so I'm really grateful for the journey that I have, and that I'm able to share my talents with people that I know and people I don't know. So I'm excited to start getting back into teaching, because I believe that video production is something that everybody can do. You don't have to hire a professional. I believe some projects need a professional. Okay. Some projects need a professional, but there's a lot that business owners can do at home, and they just need somebody to show them the easy way to do it, the quick way to do it, so that you don't feel like that one, you're defeated, or two, you have to hire a professional, because it's not always the cheapest. Is it worth the money? Absolutely. But it doesn't always fit in everybody's budgets. And I realize that. So I believe one of my missions is to share information at a very easy to obtain cost, if not free, so that everybody can have video content, because I believe that's where we're going. So if you don't have video content, I honestly believe that you're going to get left behind. And I don't want anybody to get left behind just because they don't know how to do it, because you can do it with your phone. You don't have to have all the equipment. But if you want somebody with all the equipment, you can call me. But if not, I'll show you how to do it at home. So that's one of my other missions. So that is who I am. I'm proud of who I am. And I'm excited to see where I go from here. So hopefully you'll stick around. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. There will be some stuff here. If it's not free here, it'll be $5, $10, $15, which is not a lot at all. And there will be links in the description bar to show you where to get all that stuff. So I'm excited to see where we go. And I hope you stick around. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.